It's been on the radar, but it is starting to pick up. That's really what the difference is here. I know we had a little bit of a break, and then that rain really came down as soon as those clouds started to darken. Now we have some lightning within the metro, and some heavier rain is moving on in. So the darker the red, of course, then the heavier the rain. So we're focused on this line right here, all the way from Hickory Plains to Lone Oak. Scott, you're dealing with some of that. I do want to zoom into the city right now just to tell you exactly where the heaviest of that rain is. Still toward the south of Little Rock, but what you see in Cloverdale, well, that's heading up toward Little Rock, so it won't be long before we get some downpours here, some more lightning and some more thunder. So visibility is probably a little bit worse out there with that heavy rain. We do have some slippery roads too. Traffic is going to, I should say, Traffic is going to give us an update with Pat. Pat is going to give us an update with traffic here with some of those showers, see if those roads are looking good. But do expect showers and some storms here with those clouds to continue throughout lunchtime. If you're heading off to the polls, you'll want that umbrella. However, by 6 o'clock, the rain should be out of here, and then we'll be cooling down. We do reach the 70s today, but then we'll be into the 60s by kickoff. If you're heading off to any of those high school Friday night football games, by fourth quarter for the end of the game, we'll be in the 50s. So any Friday night plans you have, grab the jacket and keep that jacket around for this weekend because it is going to be chilly. Look at your highs. Saturday, only in the 50s. Pat?
All right, just getting this in from traffic. I'm doing okay. All right, now let me give you the update on the traffic out there. Here's our Creighton Team traffic camera. Got that downpour at I-30 and Baseline, one of those heavier ones that Carmen's talking about. Starting to see more rain now hitting 30 westbound in North Little Rock. At least the volume is down. You can see here, up here by I-40, it's not as much rain. You get down to around Broadway and the river, it's pouring there. So you can see how that rain picks up. Even you can see how the highway is actually wetter the farther away we go from where that camera is perched there near Park Hill, or at least Main Street and JFK in North Little Rock. Slowing down? No, not really too much. All the traffic there is still moving along fine. However, there could be some local slowdowns there where you get that downpour. Safe speed zone today, Little Rock 2400 block of North University and also in western Pulaski County on Canis Road.
We are in the last stage of the 2020 campaign after last night's final presidential debate. After the first debate last month ran off the rails, organizers wanted a more serious event this time. And as Fox News correspondent Doug Luzader tells us from Washington this morning, that's exactly what we got.
Well, both campaigns are claiming victory this morning. This was a much more civil debate that we saw last night, and the much discussed mute button may have played a role in that.
You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
2 minutes uninterrupted for each candidate for each topic, enforced last night by the so-called mute button. And while it might have kept these two in line, they still got in their digs.
I am the least racist person in this room.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire.
President Trump in particular, much more restrained last night in this final face-off with former Vice President Joe Biden. As expected, Trump did hit Biden hard over his son Hunter's business deals and recent emails that purport to show an effort to leverage business ties in Ukraine and China.
All of the emails, the horrible emails of the kind of money that you were raking in, you and your family. And Joe, you were vice president when some of this was happening.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life.
Biden blasted Trump over his handling of the coronavirus.
We're about to go into a dark winter, and he has no clear plan, and there's no prospect that there's going to be a vaccine available for the majority of the American people before the middle of next year.
We have a vaccine that's coming. It's ready. It's going to be announced within weeks, and it's going to be delivered.
So that was the final face-to-face matchup. Now, former Vice President Joe Biden heads to Delaware to campaign. President Trump is going to Florida, where he plans to vote in person tomorrow. In Washington, Doug Luzader for Fox 16 News. Mandy, back to you.
Amy Coney Barrett's nomination to the Supreme Court is moving to the full Senate. The Senate Judiciary Committee voted yesterday to send Judge Barrett's nomination on to the Senate. All Republicans voted in favor, and all Democrats boycotted the proceedings. Their seats were instead filled with images of people who they say will lose health care insurance and coverage if the Affordable Care Act is overturned. Now, this is timely because that's a key case coming before the Supreme Court next month that Barrett would vote on.
It's their choice. It will be my choice to vote the nominee out of committee. We're not going to allow them to take over the committee.
The nomination of Amy Coney Barrett is the most illegitimate process I have ever witnessed in the Senate, and her potential confirmation will have dire, dire consequences for the Senate, for the Supreme Court, and our entire country for generations to come.
Under the committee's rules, at least 2 members of the minority party must be present in order to make a decision, but Republicans argued that there's a Senate rule that states only a majority of the entire committee need to be there to approve a nominee. Preferred Family Health will pay the state of Arkansas and the federal government $6.5 million. This comes after years of investigating by the state attorney general's office into alleged Medicaid fraud by some of PFH's former employees. The state accuses some employees of the mental health care organization of cheating the state out of the millions of dollars by manipulating the computer billing system.
Our employees at PFH figured out a way to get through the edits and to push through billing that was not authorized by the system.
The state says it was an informant and employee of PFH who actually brought this to light and got the ball rolling on the investigation. 5 former employees of PFH have been charged in state court with Medicaid fraud. Preferred Family Health no longer operates any facilities in the state of Arkansas.
Here's our coronavirus update. 1,200 new cases were added to the state's total of coronaviruses yesterday. Now keep in mind, this is both confirmed and probable cases. There are 8,730 active cases. 612 Arkansans are in the hospital right now. 21 deaths have been added to the state's total, and bringing that total now up to 1,772 Arkansans that have died with the coronavirus. Governor Hutchinson will be tested again today for the coronavirus. He's been getting tested for it since his exposure to someone who tested positive during a meeting last week. On Tuesday, the governor announced he would be scaling back his public appearances because of this. He'll be tested again Monday if today's results are negative. The FDA approves remdesivir as a treatment for patients hospitalized with the coronavirus. The antiviral was previously granted an emergency use authorization back in May. A large National Institutes of Health sponsored study found that the intravenous drug helped shorten the recovery time for some hospitalized patients. Remdesivir was one of the drugs used to treat President Trump when he contracted the virus earlier this month. It is the first and only fully approved treatment for the coronavirus in the United States. The former Minneapolis police officer charged in the death of George Floyd will not be charged with third-degree murder. The judge decided to drop that charge, but keep the second-degree murder and manslaughter charges in the case. Derek Chauvin was on video with his knee on Floyd's neck for more than 8 minutes. 3 other officers are also facing charges and asked the judge to dismiss them. That request was denied.
Still ahead, what do you do if there's an election and you're hundreds of miles away from Earth? You still find a way to vote? We'll tell you how one astronaut got it done.
And the Little Rock Police Department has new body cameras. Find out why some officers will not have them. We'll have that, Carmen's forecast, too.
But first, let's check in with Rance, where you say I play.
Got to thank